Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is your host, Sir Stephen Top of that, the third here. We're going to talk about, at this point, we're going to talk about cake mixing and why is it important. And why is it important? And very important that it is. Now, cake mixing is similar to what of the phrase been said on the Thomas and the Magic Railroad, stating, "What's the world that spins so well?" Well, it normally means somebody who's agreeable, and someone who is agreeable to go out with someone that is very rare. Excuse my French, because that's only one way of putting myself in that position, because that's what I am. I'm a very rare individual. Obviously, the other reason why I'm bringing this to my attention is because there's a lot of people that say this is important to us, but we want more. How do we get more out of the cake mixing material? Now, usually I'm not thinking about cakes here. This is a proper thing of Lady Hat, which is true. Cake mixing for her and myself, and what is important to us, and what's the world that spins so well. But it also stated at the beginning of Fake Quote 1, stoke up the magic in the mountain and the lady will smile. Hint, hint. Another quote. A lot of people say, what is important to the community? Then I've got to put that in a cake. Basically, swerve it around, because the more they want, they cannot have. Because it's not fair on the whole lot. It's important for the story to continue, which is more important on the sidelines. But that is more important to continue the story and continue our lives to the full and get married and have that kid, because that kid is important. That's the cake mixing material. You see, what a lot of people don't agree with on a lot of certain parts, which I will rephrase this cake mixing into something else. We'll get back to that because it's the same topic as we go through. So please pay attention very clearly and crystal. The cake mix of the community, they want crazy content, but some people are now seeing things realities. Now, a lot of people say we want this to happen, but we want content. We want this to happen, but we want content. And I'm getting backwards and forth, thinking, what is the need? What is the want? What's the need? What's the want? What's the need? What's the want? Going down, repeating myself on this. And and I was thinking, logically down the line, I realised that's my life that's important, and the next generation of the Hat family that is important. So, if you really want the crazy content, you have to give it up to able for the next bit to succeed. Because at this moment, you're not making it succeeding. Because at this moment, even in my friends, family, colleagues, and connections are all working together to make the actual event happen. What they've been waiting for. Stoke up the magic in the mountain, the lady will smile. What's the world that spins so well? It takes two to tango, right? There's a lot of problems that a lot of people don't see when it comes to needs and wants, but this is a cake mixing material, which is normally good for people that are making friends, making acquaintances, connections, etc., and say, look, we need to make this realistic because more people are understanding the realistic version of it now than they are fiction. So then you gotta combine that into the cake and then say, okay, this one's gonna make the final product of Lady Hat. So work it out, guys. What is more important here? I know it doesn't apply to most of my country, but to the United States, to Australia, to everybody else around the globe, besides the UK. The UK has to know. that the Tracy community wants this, this, and this. They want this, this, and this. And I said, if they want that, they have to wait until this is all done and dusted with 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 my Lady Hat and Richard Topham Hat and Emily Helen Hat, my granddaughter. Now, to make that succeed, you have to give up something. What is important to you may not be important to me directly at the moment. So, in layman terms, my importance are what my needs are right at this moment is getting Lady Hat and then get Richard Topham Hat and then finalise it with Emily Helen Hat, who's my granddaughter. That is more important, right? The community wants the Tracy content. That's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. So put that out of the cake mix for a moment, because that's not needed. We know it is agreeable that to make her happy and make her steam and everything else, what you call. But this is reality individual we're talking about. The person that I'm going to marry in the end that makes the steam team live forever. So make it sure, look at backwards and go forwards. It's a cake mixing material. So think about it. You've got the community and my life. So you pick out of those two. You have to choose reality or fiction. The more you do fiction, the harder the reality will be to compensate. So I chose reality over fiction because the fiction is there in black and white already. The reality will have to carry on that storyline because that's what's happened. Story Top and Hat, Stephen Top and Hat, which is me, is carrying on that story. What you or whatever, whoever wrote it, blah blah blah. I'm continuing in the timeline with Helena Margaret, who I don't know the surname of, who's my wife, and then you've got Richard Top and Hat, my son, and then you've got my granddaughter, Emily Helen Hat. Wake up and smell a coffee, because this is important to me. My family is important to me. The community, on the other half, that think the crazy content is important. What is more important? A gaming, a gaming role, or reality? Think about it. Just think about it. The crazy content will always be there, but you have to choose your needs and wants. My importance, right, is to make sure this lady hat comes along and then finalise it with Richard Topham Hat and then Emily Helen Hat, which everybody's been waiting for. So you got to decide here on in. I chose my section and say, look, Thomas is always going to be there every day of my life. Every day of my life, even me. I'll be around still. But the thing is, you got to let go of one thing and let the other proceed further. Let it unfold naturally. Get the help and the support I'm getting, right, is from the United Kingdom, not from the United States. They think they know it all, excuse my language. But no, they don't, because they don't live in the UK to see it all. So if they unfold everything naturally, yes, they told the truth. I'm not being dishonest on that. Of course, there's a lot of people out there who are picking up the fine lines and realizing this is happening in real life because it's real life timeline here. And to get Lady Hat, I need to go what's important to me. So the cake mixing is part of it. So for us to work together, we have to compensate both of these as a balancing act. And I was discussing this with Dr. Hatt this morning, and she said, look, what they need is their wants. What your needs are more important, which is true, because your life is more important. The Thomas content will always be around. Don't ever think negative, because that's the wrong way to go about it. Looking at negatively will put you in the wrong direction. You might end up stirring the pot with something else, which I don't need from cake mixing. So to get Lady Hat, I have to do a bit of cake mixing, cake mixing obviously, to unfold that little bit of the puzzle to get her out. It's like, you know, a lot of people say the story is true from generation one and two and three, right? But the thing is, let it unfold naturally. Don't moan about crazy content because that's not important. You know, that is not the main goal in the end. The main goal is to get this other bit of this timeline done right up to Emily Helen, the fourth generation. But for it to unfold properly, my private contacts, my agents, and my colleagues are all helping me in the United Kingdom at this moment. So give it a chance. Just put the Thomas content to one side. It's always going to be there, even for me. You know, this is not a joke, everybody. It's never a joke, and it never will be. It always will be there. It's just that certain individuals, who I'm not allowed to name, who may feel uncomfortable about what's going on, not going on, but going on with the community and the Thomas content and thinking they're going to lose it all in one bucket and then thinking it's all been stripped away. No, I have to put something what's more important to me now. I've got to think about Lady Hat and Richard Topham Hatt and Emily Helen Hatt. Those are the important ones, and without them, you won't have a fourth generation. So without them, you won't have nothing in the end. The story will never end. It will never end. By season 24, I was born after season 24, so the story's a little bit in reverse. So a little bit of this and a little bit of patience, will you? I'm not blaming everybody in the UK, but I know there are people that in America that are stubborn and really head on strong and thinking, we want this, we want this, we want this, we want this. I said, yeah, well, if you want that, you have to let the other bit unfold as well, you see. You have to do. So, what's the cake mixing do for me? It basically makes me balance out two things: the Thomas content and reality of it. That includes the Thomas franchise. The Thomas franchise is stuck in the middle. Why? Because it has to coordinate with the fiction and reality. So if you work it out, bands, everybody's safe. But if you're going to keep nagging about Thomas content being gone, deleted, poof, destroyed, there's always been new creators on the move, third generation teams, all around the globe wanting to do Thomas content for free, not for money, not not patrons or anything like that, because you don't need that either. That's a needy. That's definitely a needy. That's making money when you don't need it. A lot of people part of the community, of the Thomas community, they think money grows on trees for them, and it feels like money there. Well, that's a needy, but it's also a wanty. So depending on what you're going for, you're still unfolding your part of your story because I'm pulling your string. So I'm saying, look, that's a want. Wait for it. Be patient. Be achievable with the goals. I already set my goals. The problem is, are you going to set yours correctly? So I already told you what is important to me and why this cake mixing is more important to me, right? It's because a lot of people that don't fully understand what's going on and still rattling in their heads thinking, what the hell is going on around here? Well, Let me explain this in bigger terms in logic for you, so you know what you're dealing with. Just hold on. Let me get myself sorted. Now, a lot of you know the big story about my background, and a lot of it is all to do with family. And now I'm going to tell everybody why is it important to continue the tradition. Now, a lot of you are start asking questions that are going beyond my comprehension at the moment, but I really like to say it's coming through the book already by a private contact. A lot of you may need to work on certain things yourself, to work it all out yourself, and say, look, he's telling the truth. It's already been set in stone because it's all been written as we speak by people of my private contacts, etc., etc., etc. But this cake mixing is important. Now, let me get this in. And I haven't shown this window for a little while, so I'm going to show it. Boink. Now, obviously, you know what this is. These are the five men that you should be respecting right now. My grandfather on the far right, Sir Topham Hatt the First, and the rest of the steam team. We come back 65 years later and bump your uncle. We got to do the same process as what latest did. So, if you think crazy content is more important, then you're killing off the reality version slowly, and it will end up in a digital timeline. So, what's your step? This is no joke. Reality is coming back at you. Of Thomas and Friends from 1845 all the way to me. Now you got to wait for Richard Top and Hat and Lady Hat to surface, and then you also have to wait for Emily Helen Hat, the fourth generation of my family, which is my granddaughter. Thank you very much.